joined now by Drew Hogan. He's the former DEA agent who helped capture El Chapo many years ago. He wrote about that experience in the book Hunting El Chapo. Drew, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
For people who don't know this man as well as you do, having tracked him all those years, why is this such a big moment to see him in a courtroom facing trial for all of his alleged misdeeds?
Chapo is the biggest. He always has been the largest drug kingpin out there. And I mean, he's responsible for hundreds of quantities, or hundreds of ton quantities of drugs moving it into the United States, Canada, Europe, elsewhere. So he's really become this larger than life legend, responsible for a lot of violence, a lot of killings, and now he's standing for that.
This guy has escaped prison a couple of times. There's unprecedented security at the courthouse. They're even shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge when they transport him across it. Is this guy, do you think he's still a flight risk?
No, I think you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
Because with Chapo, you never know. He's always one step ahead, and that's when our team was targeting him. That's what we had to be prepared for, is to be ahead of him and be ready for his next move. So I think they're taking the proper precautions, and the judge is being firm on it.
You have an interesting perspective on his complaints about his prison conditions. So he said, look, I'm in this jail. I'm in there 23 hours a day. I have no human contact other than when they change my shackles. And you said that the judge is right to not really fall for that and not change the conditions of his confinement. Why?
Sure. Look, I mean, Chapo Guzmán he gets what he wants when he wants it. And that's typically how it's gone for him. Now that he's here in the United States, he's trying to get what he wants.
You say he always picks. What is that? You say pick. What does that mean?
Well, his request, to improve his conditions in prison, on to hugging his wife, just a little bit to get where he needs to be and to eventually be in a position of advantage.
There was a moment, I think it was 4 years ago, when you were one of the people who captured El Chapo. You were face to face. You looked him in the eye. He saw you. You saw him. Take us just inside that moment.
Right. That was back in 2014 in an underground parking garage where we captured him in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico, where we, I locked eyes. I was wearing his black ball cap from one of his safe houses that we raided earlier, and we locked eyes there for a split second, and I said, "What's up, Chapo?" First,
it always makes me laugh. I mean, you just blurted it out.
And what did he say?
I think he was shell shocked.
Yeah.
He really didn't know where he was, who I was, or anybody else for that matter. And then he was taken away by the Mexican Marines. So.
Wow. Well, the day is here. He's in court, so we'll see what happens.
It's here. Yeah. I think be nothing short of extraordinary.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Drew, thank you so much.
Drew.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.